What up, everybody? It's a Built Different podcast. Myself, Sean. Leonard was supposed to join us, but he's ducking the smoke. I think he was a little embarrassed about his the Raiders and also his fantasy football team. So, with that being said, Leonard, we'll catch you on the next one. But I want to talk a little bit about the big game. But before we do that, what do you think about kind of rehashing the season? You know, we both have our teams. I'm a Bucks fan, obviously. You're a Dolphins fan. Going into that, and then also talking a little bit about the fantasy football league, because everybody else was kind of ducking the smoke coming on here as well. So, Sean, just kind of reflecting on the season. I know we had like a preseason episode. What were your thoughts on the Dolphins' year this year?
The Dolphins had a good year, I think. They still didn't win a playoff game, so that's unfortunate. But I think by the end of the year they were so banged up, and seems like every edge rusher they had was injured. So I'm not entirely surprised they didn't win. I'm not gonna blame injuries though. They still got problems, things to work on. Hopefully, over the off season they can have a good draft and kind of fix some of the issues they had and hopefully go from there. But I thought they had an okay season. As far as the season as a whole for the NFL, I thought it was
Hmm.
it was fine. Seemed like there was a lot of like backup quarterbacks and stuff this year. I don't know what that was about, but it was like it seemed like every team this entire season, like the backup played a game at some point. So um, like half the games I turn on for like a Thursday night game, and it'd be like Clayton Tune versus you know someone like Dorian Thompson Robinson from it was
Yeah.
just like you haven't even heard of half of these people. But I mean, not saying that they're bad quarterbacks, but definitely not the same level, not the same names that you're typically accustomed to hearing. Um,
Yeah.
but what about you? How did you feel about the Bucks and everything?
I first gotta send out an apology to Baker Mayfield. Um, I started in like a previous NFL related podcast saying I didn't think he was the guy, and I still I still have some reservations, but I mean the guy showed improved. You know, what I mean he stepped his game up, he reduced the turnovers. The team rallied around him. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be the future Bucks quarterback. So hats off to him, hats off to the team, the coaching staff, because everybody doubted us. I doubted us, and we made the playoffs. Got through that first game with Philly, and then had a pretty good showing against the Lions, but ultimately fell a little short, but exceeded expectations by all means. So. Shout out to the team, and I love the young building blocks we have. I love the rookie Cansey. I love the rookie Diaby on the edge. Um, there was some, Antoine Winfield Jr. amazing season. Tristan Wirfs moving over to the left side is, he's one of the best left tackles in football. He start off on the right, now he's on the left, and just I mean, no seamless transition. Our offensive line was a little better. Rashad White started showing out. Um, I think the future's bright, and just got to solidify some pieces in some areas. Like I was looking at that center that's coming out of Oregon. It looks like you guys or Philly might nab him before we get to draft him, but I like that kid.
E-
The
Everyone's talking about that kid. Like it's literally like every time I see a mock draft, it's like that's like the person where it's like it's a center, and centers don't usually get drafted highly, but everybody wants him. So it's like I feel like he might end up going even higher than like the
early,
Dolphins. Like someone might just take him and be like, you know what? Like because you see what like Philly has done with Jason Kelsey and like having like that like really like
a
stud
mobile.
center. It's like okay, you're middle of the line. You're quarterback of the line really, like the play like the communicator and stuff. It's important.
Yeah, he's I think Jason Kelsey, like big thing with him, he can pull. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Um, and that's this kid's MO is that he can pull and he's super athletic and he's big as hell. for a center. He's got some girth and some height on him, but he was beasting at the Senior Bowl. So I'm like, we could use that on the offensive line. I'll take that. I'll run behind him and behind him, Cody Mauch, and you can even put him at guard as well. He doesn't necessarily have to play center, I think, but yeah, what's his name, Jackson Powers Johnson or something like that.
I think it's
I think
something
it's
like that. I don't
yeah,
think I
yeah,
don't know if that's 100% right, but close enough.
yeah. It's something with a two last names, but yeah, I like him. But yeah, besides all that, you know what I mean. Great season, NFL as a whole. I love that we got some new talent at quarterback. It looks like Jordan Love might. I still need to see more, but he looks to be a pretty solid quarterback prospect. And then C.J. Stroud, really happy for him and the first year coach over there, D'Amico Ryan. That's going to be an exciting offense to watch. He made the playoffs in his first year, got what to the second round, right? Yeah, they got
No,
to the
they
second
lost
round.
in the first
They
to
lost in the first round.
wait, no, they didn't. They beat
They
Cleveland. Yeah, they beat
Yeah, they
Cleveland.
beat
Yeah, yeah.
Cleveland. Yeah, yeah. So future's bright there as well, man. I love seeing the young quarterback, and then the number one pick is with Carolina, and not that I want to say I want to see him not succeed, but it's like I'm glad C.J. Stroud didn't go to Carolina. But fun season overall. Way too many injuries. Hopefully that's not as big of a deal in the next year, but overall fun year. Exciting year. Bucks fan, I can't complain.
And yeah, I mean, what you were saying about Baker Mayfield, I completely agree. I've always been a Baker fan, actually. I think coming out of college, he got drafted by the Browns, and like sometimes you hear people like there was a guy, Josh Rosen, who was like, I don't want to be drafted by the Browns, blah blah blah, and Baker embraced it. He was like, you know what, like I want to be the guy that takes Cleveland to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl, blah
Yeah.
blah, and obviously, his time there started good and then didn't really end well. And then he kind of bounced around a few teams, and people were like, "Oh, he doesn't have it." But I've always liked his competitiveness. He's very, like I've always thought that he was very team first. He wasn't like a me guy. Like he cares about winning a lot. Like that's his thing. So um,
Yeah. Um yeah, he's a competitor. He's a fiery guy. Um and yeah, I respect that, I respect any player that's like, I don't care where I end up, it's a privilege just to, and they're like, I can yeah, this franchise hasn't been good for a while, but I have the talent to overcome that and I have the willpower to, make the team better and I'll change the culture, and people were worried about the drop off after Brady, but um, came in and galvanized the locker room, and Mike hopefully bring Mike Evans back as well, and some of the free agents that we have, and yeah, it's going to be a great. Future's bright as long as we Jason Light drafts. Keeps up the draft because we had a phenomenal draft last year. You know what I mean? Every like how many rookie contributors, and we can do that again. Man, we'll be in good shape more than anything else, number one, I think at anything, we cleared a lot of that bad cap space. So we're not kicking the can down the road anymore, which was my biggest thing after, you gotta go for it. Like the Brady years, you go all in, but you don't want to do what the Saints do and kick the can down the road. And every year you're like 80 million over the cap, and then you just push do these financial gymnastics to keep kicking down the road, can down the road. It's that's probably the thing I'm most happy about with Bucks is like clearing that cap space.
yeah. I think the Dolphins are starting to move towards the kicking the can down the road, trying to win. If you can get, if you can get in a position where you can win, then, doing it for a few years, I don't think is a terrible thing. I don't love the idea of it, because it's like it sets you up for a really bad downfall and like years of potentially like bad years. So,
Hmm.
but the Bucks kind of showed this year that like even with being like very cap strapped, with like
Hmm.
I think it was like 30 something million of Brady money on there and things like that. Like they were still fine. They
Gronk.
they managed. So definitely an interesting thing. And then I was gonna say another thing, I guess not for this season, but looking forward, a bunch of coaching changes after the year. Um,
Yeah,
some big names moving around. Bill Belichick no longer in New England.
yeah, that's
Uh,
wild.
Harbaugh coming back with L.A. Chargers. Almost at San Diego, but they're
It's gonna
L.A.
be
now.
interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, how did you? What did you think of those of the coaching hires? Did you follow it at all, or any any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm always watching the coaching landscape, especially since we have vacancies in our division. You know what I mean? Atlanta.
And one of your coaches got hired, right?
Yeah, that was the unfortunate thing. The freaking Panthers were just interviewing all of our people. I'm glad. One thing I'm glad they didn't get was our capologist, because he's been incredible. That's how we were able to get out of this financial situation. But they were interviewing him for the GM position, and I guess they didn't hire him. So I'm like glad. I would almost rather the offensive coordinator go than our capologist, because this guy does some major manipulation of our cap and gets like I don't think if it wasn't for him, I don't think we would have been able to fit in some of those contracts for the our Super Bowl run, and then also to clear this cap space. So, but yeah, we lost our assistant to the Panthers, and then our offensive coordinator to the Panthers, and then Atlanta hired Ray Morris. So I was like, cool. I was not the Belichick. It's hit or miss. Whether he'd be able to go into a young franchise and make that big of a difference. I don't know. I don't want to write him off because Belichick is Belichick, but I was kind of nervous. Like, man, if he goes to Atlanta, is he gonna turn them around? So I was happy with the hires that went about in our conference. But yeah, everybody else, like Harbaugh, was interested. I wanted to see where he went. I wanted to see what was going to happen in Dallas with the Cowboys, and they kept Mike McCarthy because there was a lot of hubbub about how their season ended. So that was interesting to me. And yeah, coach. Yeah, off season to me sometimes is just as much fun as the regular season, because I'm interested in seeing how teams are built, what the strategy is, and just the dynamics of the business side of it, and the like the strategy side of the team. So yeah, definitely followed that. But beauty of the off season too is like free agency, seeing who gets picked up, seeing what people get released, and then the draft. I'm already, as you heard at the beginning of this podcast about the center that I want. I'm already scouting the potential talent for the Bucks, and just seeing how the draft is going to stack out, and see what teams are thinking, or why they rated a guy high versus why they rated a guy low, that type of thing. It's always super interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and then jumping back, I guess, to last season, we can talk about the end of
Yeah,
the fantasy football uh fantasy football league. Um,
this why Leonard was ducking.
for in case anyone was really curious, anyone who watched our draft or anything like that, I won as expected. Um, it was it was not really that difficult.
Oh my
Um,
god.
I was in first place the whole season, and I coasted through the playoffs. I beat Leonard in the playoffs. I beat uh, Kevin Sco in the playoffs. So um,
He also
yeah,
ducked you on the podcast as well. He didn't want to.
yeah,
There was a lot of trash talk and big, some big words thrown out, and some grand claims that were made that people didn't live up to. So, um, yeah,
yeah. It's definitely there was no DeMar Hamlin situation this year. For someone to
that
claim that
impacted
they
you.
didn't lose even though they clearly were going to. So that was
Yeah,
good. There was a trade in the middle of the season that stir up some
the,
controversy.
it screwed me over like twice.
A trade that sent Tyreek Hill to Leonard. So, you know, Tyreek is one of the best players in fantasy, but it sent
The
Christian McCaffrey to my team. So
The week that you traded Tyreek to him is the week he played me, and that's the week Tyreek had like that what
50.
200 something yard game. I was like, damn it, Sean! Like, you why trade him after? You know what I mean? Trade him after I'm done playing him. You know what I mean? So that game literally threw my season into in turmoil because I think I was like on a 2 game winning streak, a 3 game winning streak, or something. I was on a nice little roll. I think it was that up to number 3 or 4 in our league, and then that game happened. It was just like I think I lost like 3 or 4 in a row. Almost got beat by Mark, who didn't log in since week 1. Forgot his login information, so literally had a bunch of injured players and players on bye week on the team, and my team didn't perform against his team. Almost lost to him. So it's like that trade I think that trade almost single handedly ruined my shot at the playoffs and maybe even the championship. So thank you for that.
I think if you had won, you would have played me in the playoffs, and it really wouldn't have mattered. So,
Yeah. Okay.
um,
Okay.
but yeah, that's a recap pretty much of the fantasy league. But yeah, I mean, I think one of the main focuses of this episode was going to be to talk about um, this Sunday, the game,
Mm-hmm.
the big game. Um, Obviously, it's uh, the Chiefs and the
49ers.
49ers. Ricky, do you have a? I mean, I know from talking to you that this was not a preference for either of these teams to make the play or to make the championship for us. But did you have a preference on who wins this game, or what are you hoping to see?
I was hoping for Baltimore and the Lions to get in when it came down to the final week. The
Conference championships.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So unfortunately, got two of the teams that have been in it over the past couple of years. If I had my way, you know, I would like to see the 49ers do it. Um, Part of me is kind of the selfish part of me is like, well, we were, the Bucks were the team that stopped the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You know, what I mean, maybe we can be the only team to stop them in the Super Bowl, but on the other side of that, I just want to see somebody else win. I want the 49ers to win. I've always, not that they're one of my teams or anything, but I've never really had anything bad to say about the 49ers or dislike them. They're always a franchise I'm kind of like, I've always been kind of cool with, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm pulling for the 49ers. I hope they pull it off. And I hope more than anything else it's just a fun game. It's not a blowout. Last couple Super Bowls, I think we've had some good close games. So that's what I'm hoping for. It's just a good game, and I hope the 49ers are raising the trophy at the end of the game.
Yeah,
How about
I'm
you?
I'm I'm definitely in the same boat. I wanted the uh, Ravens and Lions in the Super Bowl. Obviously, they both lost. I think I should just start saying that I want the team that I actually want to lose to win, and then like maybe the team that I want to win will lose. But I'm rooting for the 49ers. I have two cousins, Kelsey and Chris, that are both 49ers fans, so kind of supporting their team. Um,
You gonna be watching
but
the game with them?
I believe so. They should be coming
Oh,
over for the game. So
it's always fun to watch it with people that have teams like horses in the race. You know what I mean? Because it makes the atmosphere is more lively. You know.
yeah, last year was a little odd because with the people we have over, living near Philadelphia, we had a bunch of Eagles fans, but we also have a bunch of Giants fans, and the Giants fans like refused to watch the Eagles play in the Super Bowl like in the same room as the Eagles fans. So like they had to go into a different room to watch the game because they didn't
Oh
want to
my
watch
god!
it with the Eagles. And it was just like
Wow. Yeah.
so they're over there cheering for the Chiefs like every play, and then the Eagles fans are cheering. So it was kind of I mean I can't say that you know I'm pretty sure that the Eagles fans probably did the same when the Giants were in the playoffs 10 plus years ago. So it goes
It's
both
like
ways. Maybe not like so far as to not sit in the same room, but uh, you know, that's just how it is sometimes. So
It's like when you can't put two species in a cage together or a fish tank together or something because they'll tear each other apart. That's what that sounds like.
Yeah. So luckily this year, I mean, there's obviously the two cousins that are rooting for the 49ers, but I don't think anyone's really a Chiefs fan, and that's coming to our party at least. So it should just be pretty neutral ground for everybody, unless anyone's betting or putting money on things, you know. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm definitely rooting for the 49ers. Although
Hmm.
I also like I think this may be Andy Reid's last year. You know, I've heard rumors of that. That he may be, you know, trying to end like retire after this year. And I wouldn't be
Hmm.
opposed to him kind of, you know, riding off into the
Walking into the
sunset with a Super
sunset.
Bowl. So
I've had enough. He can. He's won enough. So I'm not.
he's
I
only
don't see
won
why he would. I don't
he's
see
only
why he
won
would
like
make.
twice.
That's good enough for me. Um, you know what? You know, the league needs, I, the league needs like, I almost feel like a dynasty is needed in the league. Like, so I'd like to see him keep trying and keep, you know what I mean? I hate to see people walk away when they're at the top and when I feel like they have more to give. So from that standpoint, I wouldn't want to see him walk away. I want to see what he could accomplish, staying with the team.
I mean, he's been
But
a coach for a long time.
yeah, I don't know. Part of me, I'm like, I want new teams to win, but the other part of me is like, see how far you can go with this team. You know what I mean? So I don't know. If he loses, he may walk away. But yeah, if he wins, who knows? He may come back and say, "Hey, let's try and do the Belichick thing."
Uh,
Um,
Speaking of Belichick, the other rumor I've heard is that if Andy Reid retires, that's the job that Belichick has been wanting to take because he hasn't signed with anyone yet. So
I
he wants
mean,
to attach his horse to the best
Ohio
quarterback in the
State.
league again.
Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be an awkward one. I don't know how to feel about that one.
It would make it for me. It would make it very easy to root against the Chiefs for the rest of the time that he's there. So
Yeah, the league, fans would, the fans that aren't already rooting against them would turn on them, I think. But Patriots fans would be up in arms, for sure.
yeah,
Um,
definitely. But
so
what?
score prediction.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
end off there.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm Chiefs, 49ers. I mean, they both have good defenses. They both have good offenses. Um, you know, I'm thinking I'm thinking 27-21,
I was actually
and
gonna say,
with
yeah,
the 49ers winning. No, no, no. Wait, I take that back. 28-24 with the 49ers winning.
you had 27. I was gonna say 27. 31 Chiefs. With the 49ers winning 31-27 over the Chiefs. That's
31.
my
Okay,
prediction.
I can see that. I like that
MVP
pick.
MVP McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll probably win it. I would be surprised if he doesn't at this point. So,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I mean, I think we probably talked about this last year when we did a episode for the championship. But you know, what are your plans for the game? Are you watching it with other people? You watching it at home?
I'm trying to decide. I'm either gonna hang out with grandson, the godson. I don't have kids to have a grandson audience out there. Um, so yeah, either gonna watch it with him and my boy Ron, his wife Aurelie, and RJ. Go there, but I think me and a couple of friends planned on going to. There's like a new sports bar at a resort that looks really interesting. It's got a big halo set of TVs around the bar area,
Oh, cool.
and then it has like simulators everywhere, basketball simulator, golf simulators. It's like a really cool sports environment. The food looks great. Like for me, whenever I go anywhere public, the TV situation has to be on point. I hate going to places where it's like little tiny TVs and you got to stretch your head. If there's TVs everywhere, big screens, and I can focus, cool. You know what I mean? Um, or if it was a game I was more interested in, I'd probably watch it at home. You know what I mean? If I had like a serious horse in the race, because I like to be focused. But yeah, I'll probably do that or go into the downtown and watch it somewhere. But either way, I'm interested to. I'm hoping that there's some decent commercials this year because I want to be excited about movies again and car commercials, releases of vehicles, and all the really cool commercials that highlight something big that's going to happen the rest of the year or a product that's going to come out. So that's my other hope is that it's just not these stupid, corny ass commercials that have been coming out the last couple of years and these sorry ass movies that you know they're just trash. So that's the other hope. Usher halftime performance, I really could care less. I'm probably not even gonna watch that. I barely ever watch the halftime show. I normally walk off and do something else. I don't care about the performances.
Yeah, I mean that's usually a good time to get food. Um, but yeah, I'll have my family always has some people over. Usually a good amount of people, and we watch it in the basement. We turn it on all the TVs in the house so people can kind of be wherever they want to watch it. In the living room, in my dad's man cave, in the basement. So people kind of spread out. But yeah, it's usually good environment, good food, good people. Um, so that's what I'll be doing. We
That's
do
what's up.
our typical like box thing, the 100 boxes where each box has like the last number of the score of that team. So
You had told me that you guys do something like that. I couldn't remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we do that. Hopefully I get good numbers. I feel like I always get like the worst numbers. Like two is like a horrible number because it's like the game never like two never happens, 12 never happens, 22 never happens. Like unless you get up into like the 42 or something like that, then maybe. But
Or
it just seems
you have
like
to have
those
a
numbers
safety
never.
or a safety or something weird has to happen.
Or yeah, or something
Or
really
all field
obscure.
goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
all field goals
So
maybe.
yeah,
One.
zeros are always a good number.
Yeah, yeah, ones.
Ones are
21,
good.
31.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, One thing I will say as well, like I can't imagine the environment out there in Vegas for the Super Bowl. That has to be like a really really cool environment for the Super Bowl. Because one thing I'll say about Vegas, Miami is like it's away from Miami. It's like the Tampa, you're away from Vegas is very the strip is very clustered, so it's like everybody's kind of in the same environment. So I can only imagine the events, the concerts, the dinners, it's yeah, it's going to
That
be a Super Bowl to remember out there. I think.
that city is going to make a lot of money this weekend, and they make a lot of
I mean,
money most weekends, but probably even more. So
they're hitting it hard, man. F1, that Super Bowl. It's they had the NHL, the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. But yeah, just event wise, I mean, they're smashing it, man. Like I can't even imagine. You know me, I'm damn near a Vegas resident over the past couple of
I mean,
years. I can't even imagine what that environment's like out there for Super Bowl.
they had the Pro Bowl there last year, and I think it actually turned out to not be as successful as they expected because the Pro
Yeah,
Bowl I think, and they moved it back to Orlando, and I think one of the main reasons was like they wanted it to be more of a family environment, places that like kids could go, because kids love going, they love seeing their favorite players, and in
hmm
Orlando you have the ESPN Worldwide of Sports, so you can do all the, like the mini games and
it's
challenges,
at
things like
Disney.
that.
Hmm
And you have Disney, so like people can make a trip out of it, be like, oh, okay, we're gonna go to Disney, and then we'll see the Pro Bowl and some, that kind of thing. So I think it was a good thing because you know Vegas is not the most kid friendly town, so.
There's crazy things you see families out there. I'm like, I would not be probably bringing my kid out here. I mean, there's something for everybody out there, but still, there's things you see out there on the streets that kids probably shouldn't be seeing. So yeah, I, Pro Bowl I heard was a good. Great attendance this year, and it went really well. And they had a the flag football concept this year, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Because it's all obviously going into the Olympics as well. The event, men and women's flag football, but
I like that
yeah,
they switched it because like the when they played regular tackle, it was like none of the guys were going to tackle anyways. Now at least they can kind of like they're not going to go like 100% most of those guys because they don't want to get hurt. But like at least now it's like okay, like it's a little more fun to watch in my opinion.
I didn't even watch it. I saw like I was out and I saw like I was just gazing at the TV and I was still like, I don't really care for this.
True.
All Star games in general, just NBA is just horrible now, trash. I don't care for that. So All Star games are just kind of like it's not. They don't carry the same weight they used to. But baseball, I think, is probably the best. I would say. I don't, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah. With that being said, Sean, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the time with the family. That's what it's all about. Is being around the people. It's almost like a holiday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like some, for our viewers that are out of the states, it's a holiday here in the U.S. And it's a time for eating well, celebrating. If you like to drink, if you like whatever you like to do, it's celebrating, watching the game and the final. It's sad because it's like the last time you watch the game until August of the following year. So it's just like it's the
Yeah.
start of like a bunch of Sundays with no football, which is brutal.
I think I think as CEO you should start a new trend of making the Monday after Super Bowl a holiday for
I'm down
employees.
for that. I'm down for that. Sometimes I need it because it's just like I'm just like,
I I think every person that I've ever known that like likes watching the Super Bowl is like why is it on a Sunday and why don't we have off the next day? Like it's just it's a big event and it's like I don't know. Obviously it's not an actual holiday, but something that a lot of people typically are drinking or out late or doing whatever. So
I still reflect on the Bucks, the Super Bowl the Bucks won. Man, it was one of the most amazing evenings of my life. The food that we had was like incredible. The vibes were so ridiculously high. Like, man, it was one of the best days of my life, and especially sports wise. Man, I reflect on all the time, and they were posting it on social media. I'm just like, damn, that was an amazing February 3 years ago.
yeah.
That's what everybody wants. Every fan wants to feel what I felt that day and what Chiefs fans felt last year, and
And they did it in
that's
their own stadium too, right?
yeah. We were the first team to do it in our stadium, which was wild. The halftime show was again just probably one of the worst ones, but yeah, in their own stadium, that's what made it even more crazy. Um, but yeah, it was. I don't know. There's always hope for next year. I guess every fan that's not doesn't have a team and is like, hopefully next year's our year, so we can feel all the emotions all these other fans of these teams are feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyhow, as always, next year, here's to hope. Hopium, you know what I mean, as they call it. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, enjoy yourself. Be safe out there, especially those going out and watching the Super Bowl. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys got score predictions, put it in the comment section. And again, thank you for being Extropians and following the Extropian way. And that being said, we'll see you guys in the next episode. And have a blessed weekend.